Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching Principal Living. Today, I have a special guest. His name is Albert Preciado. He is the CEO of the Mortgage Guys. I think he has a lot of great value that will help you guys. So we are here to learn his principles about life and business. Thank you for being here, Albert. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And so if you don't mind, Albert, if you can give the audience a little bit of background as far as like who you are, what you do, and a little bit to let us know a little bit about yourself.
I'm a simple guy, just like you. Like a lot of I relate a lot to the Latino millennials because I'm a Latino, I'm a millennial, and I started from nothing. So a lot of times people say they had this growing up, they had that growing up, they had all these struggles, they hit rock bottom, they did drugs, they did drinking, they partied, and they had all these things that happened, right? And they use that as an excuse as to why they shouldn't be successful. So I started when I was 6 years old, and I remember my dad used to be a painter.
Mm-hmm.
He still paints. He paints the rooms here and all that. He likes to work, but I remember one time I told him when he came back from work, I want to go work. What do you do? Because he used to come back with his white outfits all with paintbrushes.
With a lot of paint?
Yeah, paint all over. So I thought it was like blood because he used to go out there and fight like bad people and things like that. So he was my hero. He took me one time, and that house happened to be like a mansion in Beverly Hills, but now I found out it was actually Bel Air.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big Bel Air home, and I told him like, wow, look at this house. And I told him, why do we live where we live? Because we used to live in the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't say the ghetto, but I said, why don't you live here instead of where we live? And then I said, why don't you have this red car, which was a Ferrari? Why don't we drive this other car, which was not an amazing car? So he told me, oh, well, that's not for us, son. And I remember that like vividly. It's not for us, son. So I think that sentence that my dad told me just changed my mindset and created a drive in me that I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the greatest. And no matter where I came from or who I was, I didn't even know who I was. I wanted to be the greatest. And then it ended right quickly because my parents had decided to send me to Granada Hills, where it's like a white community, and it's maybe 3-4 students were the only ones that were colored, meaning black or Hispanics or Asians or something else besides white. So I went there, and then right away I started getting attacked and made fun of because I didn't speak English. It was just all Spanish. And then that's when my life just kind of like went crazy, and it was like a hard change, and I had to react.
So do you think that it was more like the exposure you had with the bigger house, the better car, that kind of triggered something in your mind saying like, why
Yeah, definitely.
Why am I not here?
It triggered me to think big,
Okay.
to not care about what my parents and Hispanics and family thought was normal for us. For them, normal was being average. And when I saw that, I said, well, why can't I get that? Now I see a bunch of these guys that are worth hundreds of millions and multi-billions, and I say like, well, that's what I'm gonna do. And then it's funny because I could anticipate like 5 years from now, looking back and being like, man, I remember when I used to say that. And then just creating a new goal, which is one of the things that I always keep doing. I keep adding a bigger goal.
Okay.
Like when you came here the first time, we had one office.
Yeah.
Now we have 4. Now we have almost a whole floor.
Correct.
Like this whole, like you could go around. Like it's what, like 2 years, I think?
I believe so. I
Something
think
like
it's somewhere about 2 years. So just to break down, and it's awesome. I think you've done a lot of progress, and coming from a Hispanic background, I think it's great. One thing that I kind of want to put together is if we can talk about what do you think are the main 3 principles you have used in your life to get you to where you are now?
Well, the number 1 is having some balls, which would be courage.
Okay.
So the first employee that I hired, it was scary because I wasn't sure. I mean, it's just scary. It kind of sucks if you have to tell somebody, I can't pay you anymore, or people probably won't even tell the person they can't pay them. They'll probably just tell me, you know what, I gotta let you go because you're not that good, or like it's not what we expected. But when you have to tell somebody like, hey, somebody that left another job to come work for you, and then you gotta let him know that, hey, I can't pay you, you gotta leave.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel good. It's like it's not. It feels horrible, and I've never had to do that. And when I hired my first employee, I was scared. I mean, that was my first real employee, because before that, I had I call it an assistant that wasn't that the brightest.
Mm-hmm.
I hired an assistant, and she wasn't the brightest.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why she wasn't the brightest was because I paid her $2,000 a month. So when you're looking for an assistant, you're gonna have an assistant that's probably $6,000 a month, and one that's like $2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that's $2,000 a month is probably gonna be somebody that needs the money and is desperate and doesn't have a job because she's not good enough, or she hasn't been hired because her ability isn't that good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you hire somebody at 6,000, they could probably make you 60 extra thousand.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't do that because you're worried about I have to pay 6,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a risk. When I got an office here, huge risk, because here it's pretty expensive. It's kind of where you come from. You come from
Yeah.
up north, right?
Yeah, the Bay Area.
It's pretty expensive over there, right?
Yes, it is.
So if I get an office in East LA or somewhere in the ghetto areas up north,
Yes.
I think I mean, I don't want to say ghetto because it sounds a little bit bad, but some of the inexpensive areas,
Correct.
which are rougher, there's probably more gangs, more shootings and things like that, it's going to be cheaper. But I didn't want to get an office over there. I wanted to get an office here because this made me think bigger. And I always grew up watching this street, this block, because I used to watch Entourage. So I came here, and instead of paying $1,500 for an office, I paid $5,500 for this first office. And that was a big change. It was risky.
Mm-hmm.
But then because I always took those risks, I just kept on pushing myself to the limit. And every time I tried to push myself to the limit, I found out I was capable of more. And then I kept on investing my money into mentors, which they're expensive, and it's also a risk. What if they don't work out? So taking risks and being courageous is number one, because without that, you can't achieve anything.
So would you say that it's more like trying to step into the unknown in order to achieve more, kind of breaking boundaries within, probably mentally, because I think that everything is more mentally.
Yeah.
Like once you think you might not be able to achieve a certain level, but once you get there, just like you said, you think about it and you're like, man, I have the potential. So kind of doors start opening. So stepping into the unknown was kind of the thing that drove you to it.
It is in the beginning, but I'll explain with the second principle that I'll go into, which is
Okay.
getting a mentor. When you don't have a mentor, when you don't do any self-improvement and have a mentor, you just wing it. So you're just like Steps. She's gonna be like, oh, well, let me work with this guy. He seems kind of interesting. He seems kind of cool and on stage and does his live. So let me take a risk with this guy. Maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe it does. She doesn't know, right?
Okay.
And she just jumps into this guy, this fool, and she's like, well, hopefully it works. Hopefully he doesn't go out of business, but she doesn't know. But then after, it ends up working out. But like when you don't have a mentor, then you're just gonna like kind of jump in and do it. And then you're gonna make a lot of mistakes, you're gonna lose a lot of money, and you're gonna get knocked on your feet a lot of times. But when you start getting mentors, which are expensive, the more you pay for something, the better results, the better product it's gonna be, because the best products are not free. Nothing in life that was great, that no great investment was free. So everything costs money, and you know that. Like you have to go and spend money here, spend money there, but then you create relationships, and then you have somebody like Patrick, who tells me, hey, implement systems, operations, invest money in the CRM, get this, get that, and then you have somebody like Grant in the past that told me, hey, get real estate, invest, get a 4-unit, get this, get that. So then I learned that, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a 4-unit property, even though my parents told me it's risky. Don't do it. What if you lose it all? And I'm gonna do this driven event, even if my mom told me, don't do it. What if nobody shows up? And I told her, I guarantee you that I'm gonna fill it up. Oh, okay, well, now that you're gonna fill it up, what if you get a heart attack because of all that stress and all these people? So no matter what I told her, I'm gonna do this, she was scared. And it's because, you know, she's scared of the unknown. Like you said, it's good, but once you get mentors, now maybe it's the unknown, but you have a mentor that's telling you, go for that, and they're approving it, and they know what they're doing, what they're saying. So you're just gonna follow your mentor.
So would you consider a mentor more like in a way, a support system, and a person to kind of cut down the time for you to reach a bigger goal? So
They definitely cut time, but they also see your blind spots. So like,
okay, like that.
a lot of the times you think you're cool, you're making a lot of money, and it's like, oh, it's Thursday. Let's have it's 3 o'clock. Is it time to open up a champagne bottle? Let's open up a champagne bottle and let's start. It's a Thursday, and you're winning. You're making money, so you think like, yeah, it's all fun and games, and you're like, and you're doing that, right? And you
Mhm.
don't watch it because you think, oh well, I'm making money, but you're killing your momentum by distracting yourselves. So a mentor sees that. One time, Patrick, he told me, hey, I've noticed you've been having a little bit too much fun. Like you've been like out doing these party things, and I've seen you drinking quite a few times. And I'm like, And then I decide, okay, let me go 30 days, no, not a drop of alcohol. And I was so focused those 30 days, and I said, well, I'm gonna do 3 months. And then I always put these challenges, because when you get to a certain level, to a higher level, it's harder to improve. When you're all the way down here, and you're like very, very limited in intelligence, it's easier to improve. But when you're like an Ed Milet, it's harder to improve, because you're so almost perfect that what are you gonna improve in? Like this guy does 3 days in 1 day. He's always grinding. He never stops. He always has so much energy. He's a father. He's a husband, and he's traveling like every day and doing all these things. And every, like Bobby Castro, unrefundable minutes. No minute goes by that is not valid for him. Like, how do you improve when you're at that level? So it's harder to improve. So you got to figure out, well, how am I going to improve? Like maybe I'll hold off 30 days to open this bottle. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. So they keep you in check, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
So they keep an eye on you. They keep you in line to pretty much, if you have somebody to be next to you and you tell them your goals, let's say, they keep you focused and they keep you aligned to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what a mentor has done for you?
That and a lot more. Like, I think that you need courage to get a mentor. But if you don't have a mentor, like I've never met anybody that's been super successful without a mentor. I mean, who?
Yeah, I don't know anybody actually. Most people that I know, especially like people that have written books, they're always around a person that was doing what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then they learn from them and they apply all the knowledge that they got from them and to get to the level that we're at. Because they're showing you, just like you said, right? Like if somebody's at a higher level than you, then they're looking around them at the same level they are, right? So they are able to get you the right knowledge to get you to the level they're at.
Yeah. And I'll add something to that. A mentor is somebody that you study every day. But you could still learn from everybody else. But I have like this rule that I'll learn 10% from outside. But a mentor is 90%. I study them every day. Every morning I'm listening a little bit to my mentor. But you could even learn from stupid people. Just do the opposite. and you'll be successful.
You can always learn a bad as well as a good thing, right? So.
And even like kids, your grandpa, your grandma, your mom, your dad, they always have valuable information to share. They might not be the experts for business, but they know a lot of stuff. The experience, the traveling, all of that stuff is valuable. So sometimes they have the most interesting conversations with older people, because they just have so much experience and they want to learn from that experience.
Yeah.
And then with technology now, like, I mean, we could go on and on with different things, but technology is key. Like you could be a young billionaire, and you don't have to wait till you're 60, because you have technology now. Technology is speed. Like my friend right here in front of me, like he looks young, but he could go through he doesn't have to read a book anymore. There's like these books that are compressed with the most valuable information of a book, and you could hear it instead of reading the whole book. Is it the same as reading the whole book? No, but you could access that in 40 minutes, just hearing it as you shower.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how many people say, oh, I read 1,000 books this year. But it's like they get the cliff notes, I think they call it, but they get all the best information from the book read to you. So imagine if, and then there's podcasts. There's people like Ray Dalio getting interviewed, worth 18 billion. You listen to all those podcasts, and now you're smart. Something that you never learned in school. Correct. So like my friend here, that's like 18 or 19 years old. Like he could be a 25-year-old billionaire if he listens to all that data and applies it. He doesn't have to wait till he's 60 to like buy a jet or buy anything like that.
Correct. Would you agree that technology helps you to accelerate something that before, just like you were saying, you can compact all the information into something, pretty much getting the most value out of it and compacting it and taking it in a different form. Just like you were saying before, hundreds of years ago, you will have to go through books and spend a lot of time. Right now, you can accelerate all that, just get the best out of a book and just apply it right away. If you don't mind, just one statement that I learned from a guy. He said, success is knowledge being applied. So as long as you have a lot of knowledge, it doesn't mean anything. But if you apply it, and that's one good thing that I heard about you, and I really liked, that you said you get all this information and you apply it. Do you think there's something that stops people from getting all this knowledge, since you're just like you were saying, it's all over the place, but people don't apply it? Do you think there's a reason for that?
I think they're insecure.
Insecurity.
I think they're insecure, and when you get a mentor, it takes away the insecurity, because they're kind of like a coach. They tell you like, go do it, and you listen to them. Like when Ed Milet gives me some advice, and Patrick gives me some advice, Bobby gives me some advice, when the billionaire upstairs tells me something, I go all in. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna listen to this guy. Because then you go, like you get I'm sure you get business advice from uncles, cousins, and people when, like, over the weekend, or when you see them, when you have family gatherings, and they give you business advice, and you're like, well, this guy or this lady, they're not that successful. Like, why am I gonna listen to them? And then you have somebody like me, or you have somebody like you run into Ed Milet, and he tells you this, or Bobby Castro. He's like, hey, this is the way you should do it, and then you're like, well, this guy has $300 million of real estate. He has $300 million, $333 million that he got paid cash because he sold his company for $1 billion. Maybe he knows a few things about opening a company. Maybe he knows a few things about real estate. So you listen to those people, and that's what I do. Like, I listen to people that are great at what they do. Like, I'm not gonna listen to Patrick Bet-David on how do you invest real estate, because that's not what he does. But I'm not gonna listen to like a personality, like an influencer, like those people with millions of followers and YouTubers.
Correct.
I'm not gonna listen to them on advice on how do you create an agency like PHP, like Patrick did, and with systems and operations and all that stuff. I'm not gonna listen to that. I'm gonna listen to Patrick about that. So what I did is, that's why the first Driven, I had four business principles. So I had sales and real estate. I mean, that's two, but I had sales. So I got Grant Cardone for sales, which he also talked some about real estate. Then I had Patrick Bet-David for systems. Then I had Brad Lee for training, because very important, which this could lead to the third one, which is discipline. And then I had marketing. I had Ty Lopez. Okay. Right. So marketing is huge, but discipline, I would say, number 3. Like, what you repeat, you get better at. Everything. Like, what you repeat, you get better. The first time you did something it's not going to be the best results you got. Like, it took me like 8 months for Sil, like, to take her out on a date. It took us like years for us to have Italia. So like, we had to like practice. We had to get better at it. We had to get better at everything. And like, when you open a business, the first time you try to open a business, many times you fail.
Correct. And
then you try again, but you can't quit. So whatever you repeat, like when you work out one time, you're not going to get the results you want. But when you repeat a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, you're going to start getting in shape. And now, like, for example, me, Like I'm not in the best shape right now, but because I've been doing it for so long, I maintain myself. Like I'll get like a lib, like I'll my belt, it'll get a little bit tight, and I know, okay, I just have to like get a little bit more extreme for 2 weeks, and I'm back. But I've been doing it all my life that it's easy for me to just maintain. Basketball, same thing. Like you're not gonna get good with the first free throw, so it's discipline, which means repeating, repeating, repeating. Which is this?
Your mind.
Every single morning, my first 5 hours consist of self improvement and exercise. So it could be 3 hours of self improvement and exercise. It could be me listening to even when I'm showering, I'm listening to some self improvement. I'm not just showering listening to a rap song or some song. I don't listen to music when I shower. Some people do. I listen to something that's gonna teach me something when I'm taking a shower. So every morning, first 5 hours, most important. That's my first part of my day.
Okay.
So you know how there's 3 days in one that you could do?
Correct.
So the first part is self-improvement, working out, and me visualizing and thinking about what am I gonna do for this business? What's my next innovative campaign? What crazy thing am I gonna come up with to disrupt the industry? What am I gonna do to crush my competitors? What am I gonna do to like? I'm always thinking about ideas like how am I gonna grow this business? So my first 5 hours is the most powerful and most important time. Like my first 5 hours, like I don't take any phone calls about, hey, you know, we need you for this fire that happened, and like that's why I wake up really early because I don't want. And then Italia wakes up really early, so I have to wake up extra earlier so that because she wakes up at 6, sometimes earlier, and when she wakes up like at 7, I'm like golden because she wakes up. And I have this little rule that when she wakes up, like I just put my phone down and I give her like 30 minutes. Because sometimes 10 minutes and she's already done with me. She wants to she wants my attention for 10 minutes, and then she's just like, oh, I'm gonna go do something else, and she forgets about me.
Okay.
So you don't have to spend all day with your kids, but I think it's bad when your kid comes, and you're on your phone and they're like, hey, Papa, 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 and you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're like this because you're not giving them the full attention. It's like if I'm right here texting people as I'm talking to you.
Just ignore.
Like you have to be focused and so that's why my first 5 hours, most powerful hours, and I'm focused, and that's what keeps me getting better every day. Because every day I want to be better than the next day. Every day I want to have more money in the bank. Every day I want to be a better leader. So every day I want to get better.
So would you say that the first point that you got was consistency, from what I understood, and it was more like being consistent, making sure that every day you're moving towards your goals. And second one will be for the first 5 hours to be, I don't want to say selfish in a way, but keep that time for yourself.
Yeah.
Like pretty much focus the first 5 hours of your time for you. And that way, the more you improve in yourself, the better you feel doing exercises and self-improvement, you are able to bring more towards what you're going again for. So towards your goals.
That's huge because it's like sharpening the knife, the axe. Like if you're just using the same axe and you're just trying to chop the tree, I'm pretty sure you heard about that before. But if you sharpen it, you're gonna cut the tree faster. It's like if you don't do 5 hours of self-improvement again a day, then you're not gonna get any better. You're gonna get worse. So when you do those 5 hours a day, you're working on getting better, right? So when you have problems, you're gonna fix them faster. When you have to come up with an idea to double your income, you're gonna come up with that idea because you're getting better yourself. When you have an argument with your girl, you're gonna be smarter because you learned probably a thing or two in your 5 hours of self-improvement. So you're gonna be able to like, let me make a better decision. Let me use this word instead of that word, and maybe she won't get mad at me. And then you guys have better communication. So there's so many things you could improve on, not just financially, but mentally, communication, persuading people, how to be a better negotiator, how to come up with an innovative campaign. Innovative campaign is something that's different. Something that which I'll recommend you this book. I'm pretty sure I have, but Blue Ocean Strategy. It teaches you about being different. Being different in your industry. For me, the mortgage industry, nobody in the mortgage industry drives a Ferrari. Look it up, Google it. You'll never find a mortgage guy that drives a Ferrari. And I did this 5 years ago. So 5 years ago was now it's maybe a little bit easier. Well, maybe not right now because of the whole Corona thing, but
Yeah.
but everybody was starting to get new cars and all this stuff. But I did it 5 years ago. 5 years ago, it was like almost impossible for any mortgage person to have a Ferrari. So I did it because I wanted to disrupt the industry and I wanted to get all the attention. So when I got it, all the mortgage people were like, "What is this guy doing? Like, what is he, like, is he selling drugs or I don't know, what is he doing?" People didn't think I was a mortgage person. So then I showed everybody, hey, if you get into the mortgage industry, you could drive a Ferrari.
Yeah.
So then what happened? Now everybody wanted to join the mortgage guys and everybody was joining the company. It was easier for me to recruit. It was easier for me to get Grant Cardone's attention, Patrick Bet-David's attention, because I had that Ferrari. If I was driving a 3 Series BMW, nothing bad if you have that car, but if I'm driving that car and I tell Grant or Patrick, hey, look, I'm a successful millionaire, I have this business, they're gonna be like, it doesn't seem like it. But when I got that car, they were, especially 5 years ago, they were like, it got their attention. And that was kind of like my way of creating attention, whether it's good or bad attention, but people, I got their attention and that helped me scale.
Okay. So just to kind of put it all together, I really like what you were saying, and I have a quote that I really like it's always been in my head, and I really think that it just fits exactly what you said, and it actually comes from the Bible, and it says, if the axe is dull and the edge is unsharpened, much strength is needed, but with skill, success comes easy. So just like you said, when you improve yourself, it's easy. You're sharpening the blade. So I think it was fitting into that, into what you were saying perfectly. So I really like that.
Yeah.
And just to wrap it up, you said your third principle will be discipline. So being able to keep yourself disciplined on a daily basis. Is there something that you do? I don't want to call it a ritual, but is there something that you do on a daily basis to get you to that mentality?
Well, it could be a ritual or routine, but I mean, it all starts by jumping out of bed.
Okay.
Like I jump out of bed. Like when my eyes open, I jump out of bed.
Literally.
Yeah. When my eyes open, whether it's 12:30 in the morning, whether it's 2 in the morning, when my eyes open, I jump out of bed. I don't give myself 10 minutes to think about it. Oh, you know what? It's 12:30. My mom said it's not healthy. I'm gonna get more wrinkles. I'm gonna start getting tired earlier in the day. I don't start thinking about all that nonsense. I wake up when my eyes open, because sometimes you open your eyes, right? And then you just start thinking. Like, especially if you're a big thinker, like you, like if you have all these ideas and dreams and goals, when you open your eyes, I'm pretty sure you start thinking about, I have this idea, and then you can't sleep anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe you wake up and you go pee and you have this really long piss and you get and then by the time you're done you're like you're disruptive. You can't even go back to sleep. You go back to sleep and then you're rolling in bed for 10 minutes trying to go to sleep again, and then it takes you 40 minutes to go back to sleep. So I have this 10-minute rule where if I roll in bed 10 minutes, like I get up. But for the most part, I already got over that. So when I open my eyes, I just jump out of bed. I give a kiss to Italia first, then Berlin, and then Sil, and then I just go out and I start my routine. Same routine as every day, including my days where I skip the gym. One time out of the week I skip the gym, just once. But I still do self-improvement when I skip the gym. So my routine is 5 hours of self-improvement, 2 hours of workout, and that's my morning. That gets me started. So I never skip that. So imagine practicing 5 hours a day self-improvement, practicing an hour and a half to 2 hours workout a day, practicing every day, just jumping out of bed. You don't get a moment to like consider, well, maybe today I should negotiate, maybe today I should just roll in bed for 40 minutes. It's just wasted time.
So would you say that it's more about taking action as soon as possible and don't add time to it?
Yeah, because that's how you eliminate fear. Like if you're scared of, like, I'm pretty sure the first time you did an interview or a podcast or anything like that, you were probably a little bit nervous, right? You were more nervous, and now you're less nervous, or maybe you still get nervous, maybe you don't get nervous, but the first time you get nervous. But if you don't set a date and you say, I'm gonna do this podcast, or I'm gonna speak on stage in front of 500 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, if you just commit to it, and then you don't think about it, and then when it's time to go speak, you just go up there and you start speaking. 5 minutes, you probably mess up. you probably stutter a little bit, but then you start talking, and then you grow confidence, and then it's like, wow, I did it. But if you try to prepare and you want to have the perfect speech, and then you're thinking about it, like you get the fear increases. But one thing that I do to eliminate fear is I just go for it.
Just take
Like
action.
if I see it, like not right now, but before when I was single, I used to think a lot about like, oh, let me approach that girl at the bar, and I said, well, let me get a drink. Oh, let me get a second drink. Now you know what? The third drink is gonna make it. Like I'm gonna be like so relaxed. I'm gonna go up to the girl. When I started just going up to the girl, my conversion rate just went off the roof.
So taking action.
Took
right
action.
away.
That doesn't let you get scared. Like the fear goes away.
I love that. So taking action right away helps you be in discipline.
Yeah.
So taking away the fear and just focusing on what you got to do
Like
at
when
that
you have
moment.
to pick up the phone and give somebody bad news, when you have to pick up the phone and tell a client something, people are scared of the phone. It's
Yeah.
like this phone is gonna like kill you. Like it's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna eat you either. So you just pick up the phone. Hey, I got this news for you, and then you'll be surprised. They'll say, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay." Like, yeah, actually, I'll take the deal that you have. But people are scared to give the clients a deal that's not the best because they think, "Oh, they're gonna say no." But if you just pick up the phone, give them the deal, they'll probably say yes. You don't even know, but just go for it.
So instead of thinking too much, just once again, take
Yeah.
action and take whatever comes.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Eliminate fear.
Don't be a sissy. Don't be
Okay. So just to wrap it up, we learned from Albert that we can apply 3 principles to be successful. The first one is to have courage, or like he said, get some balls, and getting a mentor to be able to expand faster, as well as keeping discipline on a daily basis. So once again, Albert, we do want to thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it. One last thing that I was going to ask you is if anybody is looking for a mortgage or how to contact you, how can they get in contact with
The
you?
easiest way is just Googling my name. Just Albert Preciado on Google. You'll find all my stuff. And my favorite one is Instagram. So Instagram is the Albert Preciado. But just Google me and you'll find me.
Awesome. So I will put a link on the bottom as well. And once again, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for
Hey,
being here,
pleasure.
man.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having me.